Scams and ripoffs happen every day. There's also corruption and manipulation. Sometimes it's blatant, but it can also be subtle. I'm Dave Crevassier. Welcome to our weekly 13 Investigates special. 13 Investigates is committed to looking out for you and your money, making sure you're not getting a raw deal. The pandemic brought with it a spike in home improvement projects as many people suddenly working from home reimagined their surroundings.
That's right. But as 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears uncovered, some alleged unscrupulous contractors sought to take advantage of that. And tonight, Darcy's got a story involving at least 21 victims in a case of money for nothing. And just this afternoon, we did get word that the district attorney is moving forward with criminal charges.
Custom barn doors have become a recent home improvement trend, a bit of rustic charm in a desert home. Karen Smith wanted barn doors to close off her master bath from the bedroom.
Right now I have curtains, and so it doesn't block the noise when I'm getting ready early in the morning while my husband's sleeping.
Chris Chico wanted to convert a dining room into a home office.
My husband, he works like late shift, swing shift.
Yeleni Pallavicini works from home out of her master bedroom retreat.
So I needed that space to be closed doors, so when I have meetings or when I'm working, he will not be distracted with the noise.
Yeleni got a referral from a friend who had these installed. Others found the same company online, Spartan's Custom Barn Doors, run by Jason or Jay Brown.
He was very active on Facebook with his advertising.
So I Google searched Custom Barn Doors. Jay's website came up, he had very good reviews.
They all hired Brown, who required half the money for their doors up front before any work was done. Their deposits ranged from $500 to over $1,000.
I'm out close to $1,200.
For absolutely nothing.
Correct.
He was very responsive in the beginning with the design, and very responsive when he came to the house, and very responsive when he took the deposit, and then after that it kind of faded away.
Yeleni, Karen, and Chris are among a group of more than 20 homeowners who paid Brown for doors they never got.
He scammed us. In the end, he scammed us.
He told them it would be up to 12 weeks for installation. Many have been waiting more than a year with nothing to show for their money but a series of excuses.
But we found that we were all getting the same text messages. He was just copying and pasting.
Originally, he blamed it on the supply chain. Then it was that he fell ill. He didn't know whether it was COVID or it was something else, but they were very ill, his whole family. And it was just excuse after excuse.
In this text message to a customer, Brown said he's not delivering doors because people are following him, and he's not answering texts or calls from upset customers because, quote, that's what got my health so screwed up in the first place.
Do you believe anything he says at this point?
I do not. He had a very good game when he came to the house.
After several customers filed formal complaints with the Nevada State Contractors Board, they learned Jason Brown is not licensed. Unlicensed contracting work is illegal and can leave victims high and dry. Using this lineup provided by the state, customers identified Brown. The board sent him this administrative citation last October, along with a $1,500 fine. Brown deleted his Google account and the Spartan's Custom Barn Doors Facebook page, but never paid the fine, which the state has sent to collections.
So if he's stiff in the state.
So I got scammed. Really bad.
The Contractors Board sent 3 cases to the district attorney where they've been approved for prosecution on charges of doing business without a license and misdemeanor theft.
We both work very hard for our money, extremely hard. And it's very sad that people will do that to other people, especially during these times.
Jay Brown declined our request for an on-camera interview. He sent this statement, claiming to his consumers, I'm working diligently to ensure that I can get your refunds issued. Citing COVID and other sensitive issues impacting his business, he further wrote, I hope for understanding as I make amends. I had no intention on deceiving anyone, and I sympathize with everyone that is involved. I extend my sincere apologies for the negative experience that you had with my business and myself. For his customers,
nobody believes him anymore.
Those words ring hollow.
I want him to do what is right. he needs to return the money to the people that trusted him.
Getting their money back won't be easy, says Peter Aldis of Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada.
These victims can file small claims lawsuits where they can seek return of their deposit. The biggest challenge they're going to face is actually collecting on the judgments that they could receive.
That's because if you win a small claims case, you have to find assets and chase down the money yourself.
So you have to figure out that there's a bank account that actually has money in it that you can collect from, or a paycheck that this person receives from an employer. In a lot of cases, that's not available for somebody who's been not returning deposits or not doing the work.
Aldis says the customer's biggest blunder was hiring an unlicensed contractor. And remember, these three are part of a much bigger group, 21 victims and counting, none of whom checked to see if Brown was licensed.
Why do you think so many of you didn't take that step?
I think that one of the realities of the online world that we live in is an over-reliance on ratings and reviews.
If it is a licensed contractor, whether they're advertising on social media, business cards, yellow pages, they have to include their license number in the advertisement. So if you're bidding or you're seeking bids for a job, you'd want to see that license number. You also don't want to trust reviews. Somebody will hire their friends or recruit their friends to put in fake reviews.
So what can you do to protect yourself? Before you sign a contract or agree to any home improvement or construction work, make sure you get the contractor to give you a license number. Then check that license number on the Nevada State Contractors Board website or app to make sure that it's valid and active.
Also, be wary of the warning signs of potential contracting scams, which include extremely low bids and requiring a large deposit paid directly to the contractor.
I did get 3 estimates. His estimate obviously was too good to be true, and I know better.
While they wait for justice that may never come, these consumers at least hope their cautionary tale saves others from making the same mistake. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
We'll be back with more of 13 Investigates after the break. Welcome back to our 13 Investigates special. For more details on the stories you're watching today, visit ktnv.com/13investigates. And if you have a story idea or a tip, email us at 13investigates@ktnv.com.
Well, right now, employees are in the driver's seat. Whether you're looking for a job or maybe looking for a promotion, how do you get more money but keep from overstepping your boundaries? I feel like there's a fine line here, kind of a tap dance you have to do when you talk to your boss.
Yeah, that is the key. And consumer reporter John Matarese has some expert advice so you don't waste your money.
Did you go through the Jumpstart program?
For job hunters like Ramar Burns, this is the best time in years to be searching for a new job.
Entry levels is coming in at $20 an hour, $23 an hour. That's good pay.
Ramar is considering several offers of warehouse work.
Job counselors say don't just take the first offer that company makes and say yes. They say take a minute to factor in the schedule, any child care costs you might have, and especially commuting costs with gas prices over $4 a gallon.
You know, if you're making the same as you were making last year, you're now making less.
Andres Laris is a salary negotiating expert with the Shapiro Negotiations Institute. He says with consumer prices soaring, write out a script for how much you'll ask for. Then use high inflation to ask for more money.
Rather than saying, hey, I'd like to get a raise, now you can say, hey, I'd like to get a raise because inflation is X. And if I'm not keeping up with inflation, I'm making less now than I was last year.
But he says do some homework first on what the position should pay. He suggests you check Glassdoor, Salary.com, Payscale.com, and Indeed.
10, 15 years ago was hard. You really didn't have a lot of information.
Ramar's employment counselor, Adam White, says also ask how far you can advance in 5 years.
I would just encourage people, really look at the growth path when you're looking at companies and judging companies, because there's a lot of projection upward that you can do.
Ramar is taking those tips to heart in his salary talks.
You know what the cost of living is like, so you know what your experience is like. So negotiate your pay.
And that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Nevada Job Connect is hosting several job fairs this week, and they all start off today. So for a look at them, just visit our website. That's ktnv.com/links.
You used to get a lot more in there?
Used to get a lot more chips in there, absolutely.
Linda Knox can't believe how few chips she gets in a bag these days. But But snack foods are just the start when it comes to shrinkflation in 2022, according to Denise Brummett.
Household goods, paper towels, paper plates.
All getting smaller?
Yes.
One of the biggest items we use every day has just shrunk in size again.
But Cottonelle just downsized, and you're losing a roll or two in every one of those big packages.
Ed Dworsky of Consumer World and Mouseprint.org says this year could set records for shrinking products.
Shrinkflation goes in waves, and when you have high inflation, you see more instances of products getting smaller.
Other products he recently spotted, Charmin.
Charmin Mega Rolls went from 264 to 244, so you lost 20 sheets on a roll.
Dove Body Wash.
The 24-ounce bottle went down to 22. We've seen some soap get smaller. It doesn't seem to know any limit.
And even the Keebler elves.
Those devilish little elves have been downsizing the products.
He says Keebler's Chips Deluxe with M&M's family-sized cookies went from 17.2 down to 14.6 ounces. He says that's fine if your family is shrinking, otherwise the kids could end up hungry. Edgar's suggestion, if a package looks a bit smaller, check other brands, especially store brands that may not have slimmed down, and that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Bruce McGee checked his phone the other day to discover a worrisome text message.
It was a text that said that my Bosch dishwasher would be charged to my account. I didn't order a dishwasher.
A $1,500 dishwasher. He thought it might be a scam, but opened the text anyway.
In particular, I had to open because it specifically mentioned an item, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't, erroneous.
So he decided to contact us to see if other people were receiving similar texts. But moments later,
as I was composing my email to you, I received another email from a bank with whom I do not do business.
It said, due to an unusual transaction, we have blocked your debit.
So was the first text message real? What about the second one? Well, it turns out they were both scams to steal his bank account information and possibly his identity.
No, the scammers do not discriminate. They will send this to anybody, and anybody that will respond.
Sarah Wetzel is with the Better Business Bureau. She says scammers are using text messages to impersonate businesses as well as government agencies to lure consumers into giving up personal information to steal their identity or their hard-earned money. She says there are some ways to protect yourself. Check for grammatical errors or a phrase that doesn't make sense. Do your research. Look up the number online to see if it's a legitimate business. And never click on a link from an unknown number. Sarah says replies allow the scammer to know it's an active phone. And at the end of the day, she says just let that text message go, and when in doubt, throw it out. That way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
Get the best of 13 Investigates on your time. Download the KTMV 13 Action News app on your Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire TV streaming device. Visit ktnv.com/apps for more information. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to our 13 Investigate special. For more details on the stories you're watching today, visit ktnv.com/13 Investigates. And if you have a story idea or a tip, email us at 13investigates@ktnv.com. Now, for many in the Valley, that means your major spike in the electric bill. Tonight, we have tips to save before we hit those triple digits.
During the summertime, our bills tend to increase a lot.
Audrey Peral knows it gets expensive when the AC kicks on at her Henderson home, but she's hoping NV Energy can help.
Anything that is going to help lower my bill is good in my book.
Audrey is getting an energy assessment for her house as part of the Power Shift program.
We'll send a technician to your home, check out everything you're doing in your home for energy efficiency.
NV Energy provides the program for free to all customers, whether you rent or own. Customers get personalized tips to help conserve energy. Plus, you get a free smart thermostat.
The great thing about these smart thermostats is on your phone or on the computer, you can set a schedule.
NV Energy says the ability to control your AC or heat from anywhere ultimately leads to better efficiency. What kind of savings can a person see over a month or 2 months or a year?
So the thermostat itself, you can save approximately $100 a year.
The Power Shift program also provides free LED light bulbs, smart power strips, and even new air filters. But this program is only one way to help take a bite out of your electric bill. There's also a program designed to help eligible customers replace old appliances with new energy-efficient models. NV Energy also has what's called the Equal Pay program.
They can set a equal payment for you that will be the same payment every month, so you know what to budget, you'll know what you're getting at, and you know how to save for that piece of your monthly bill.
As for Audrey, she's looking forward to having better control over her energy use and a lower bill this summer. And the best part is, it's all provided for free.
Yes, which is my favorite prize.
Well, to schedule a Power Shift bundled appointment, call the number on your screen there, 855-676-9373. We have more information on these money-saving programs and other ways to cut the electric bill on our website. Just go to ktnv.com/power-saving-tips. We'll be back with more of 13 Investigates after the break. Welcome back to our 13 Investigates special. For more details on the stories you're watching today, visit ktnv.com/13investigates. And if you have a story idea or a tip, email us at 13investigates@ktnv.com. Well, social media was meant to connect people, but over time it's turned rather toxic for a lot of folks. As tech companies come under increasing scrutiny, 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears examines how our state is tackling social media's harmful effects and one company's goal to make a safer app.
The reality is that we're not interacting in a meaningful way on these platforms. And furthermore, they're really bringing us further apart than closer together.
Research going back at least a decade shows a direct link between time spent on social media and mental health problems.
We're seeing a real increase in the amount of feelings of depression, anxiety, and even just isolation and loneliness.
Add to that eating disorders and even suicide. Las Vegas psychologist Dr. Sunshine Collins says she's introduced a new question for her clients.
When I'm working with people now, the thing that I need to ask is not just how's your social life, how often are you interacting with peers, but really, how are you interacting with them? So are you still seeing them in person? Or are you just relying on that contact you get on the internet just from likes or comments on a post that you made? Those are very different quality of social interaction.
Like many of you, when I first created an account on Facebook and other platforms, it was a warm and inviting opportunity to keep in touch with out-of-state family members and an exciting chance to reconnect with old childhood friends I hadn't seen in years.
But for many, the excitement waned as the social media experience morphed into endless advertising, divisive content, and all things viral.
We would expect to see social media really fulfilling some of our need as people to get that social connection, but we're really oftentimes seeing the opposite, that there's an increase of loneliness from people who are using social media for a lot of their social interaction.
Marriage and family therapist Kim Taylor says prior to social media, it was often difficult for spouses to connect. Now, it's even worse.
The phone is such a brainless distraction. And so a lot of couples will just end up on their phone at night, scrolling, clicking, doing whatever, and they're not spending time together, connecting, talking, planning, whether it's vacations or goals or whatever it might be.
Taylor says if connection is lacking in our relationships, it could have serious consequences.
And it can lead to infidelity. It can lead to divorce, which disconnection leads to all of those. So it's just a vehicle for that.
So what's being done to curb all of that? Just this month, several attorneys general, including Nevada's Aaron Ford, launched an investigation into TikTok to find out what harms the app can cause young users and what TikTok knew about those harms. A spokesperson for TikTok says in part, they appreciate the focus on safety of younger users, and we look forward to providing information on the many safety and privacy protections we have for teens.
The way that we connect with technology today is very superficial.
Entrepreneur Henry Asulin is pursuing a totally different kind of social media.
And so right now with social media platforms, people are fixated on these superficial elements, such as how many followers a person has, how many likes they're getting on a photo, how many times they received a comment on a post.
Asulin's mission is to create a space where that doesn't happen.
We are going to market with Future Wave, which is really the world's first family media platform of its type.
A move away from influencers, which Asulin calls the epitome of superficiality.
There are a bunch of these insignificant people that have millions of followers, quite frankly, and are being the core influencers in our loved ones' lives. And the reality is that a lot of these people are being put on a pedestal for no purpose, no accomplishment, no reason.
He says it's a shame so many kids look to influencers as role models instead of their own family members.
We are looking to reset that narrative. We are looking to make it possible once again for our grandparents to be that core influential element in our lives as we continue to get older.
With the app expected to launch this summer, FutureWave will feature an interactive family tree so users can learn more about their roots.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Even President Biden says enough is enough.
We must hold social media platforms accountable for the national experiment they're conducting on our children for profit.
Until leaders can do that and hopeful startups like Asulin's FutureWave can provide alternatives, family therapist Taylor says we've got to prioritize the actual people in our lives over the virtual.
Understand that these companies know exactly what they're doing. You know, they find ways to get people addicted. So if you think about it that way, someone else or some other company is basically in sort of controlling you. And that's not what we want in a relationship.
We reached out to Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and other platforms. We have the information they provided on our website at ktnv.com. No word yet on how long the TikTok investigation is expected to take, but we will get those results when they come in, and we'll let you know when FutureWave launches later this year. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
Thanks for watching our 13 Investigates special. If you missed any part of this week's program, just hit the back button on your remote and scroll down until you see 13 Investigates, or visit ktnv.com/13 Investigates to find more stories like these on our website. Now stay tuned for more from 13 Action News after the break, and check us out anytime here on KTNV Streaming Las Vegas News on your time.